Hi again. I'm on my second pre-season stream walk. I'm at the trout stream today. I did get a bit of feedback from my chub stream, short chub stream video, saying that the trout stream wasn't a lot better. I'm at the first sort of spot on the stream yet, so I'll reserve judgment, but there is a lot of weed, as expected, but I thought there might be a few more options on this stream. Quite a few more features on this stream than the chub stream, so it's a lovely day today and I thought, why not, let's go for a walk and have a look. So as I say, I'm at the first spot. You can just see a bit of the stream behind me there. Going to walk along and just sort of check it out and see if it's worth a visit. Like the chub stream, very challenging in the summer, but I do like fishing for chub in the summer if I can, so we'll see. But anyway, let's have a walk along and see what things look like. This is the first spot where I was standing when I did that brief intro. Yeah, it is so different now to what it was at the back end of the season when I fished here. The bulrushes over there, well, they're hardly noticeable, and there's all the streamer, and there's not a lot of space between the streamer to drop a bait, but it's not completely impossible. Everything depends on whether there was a chub in the area if you dropped a bait in there, but as I say, not completely impossible, but to use a word I've used too much recently, challenging. Anyway, we'll move on to see what we have to see. Just to give you an idea of how much these streams change in the summer, this is a spot where I pulled out a pike last winter, and there wasn't a sign, as far as I can remember, of a bulrush. I cast down to sort of under that tree over there on the far bank, and I hooked a pike. I wasn't aiming for pike, of course. It just grabbed the bait, and I managed to get it in through fairly clear water. But look at it now, absolutely chock-a-block with bulrushes. So that gives you a good measure of how things change. Making my way to a spot where, I think it was this spot, it all looks so different now, where I managed a chub on my last outing of the season, last season, and as I say, it all looks so different now, and I'm not sure I'll even get to the riverbank, but we're making our way. Yeah. See, this is what you're up against. This is definitely the spot. But the riverbank is just completely overgrown with these tall nettles. So even though the stream here might be fishable, actually getting to it, mind you I say that, you can just see over the top there bulrushes again. So probably not. As I say, the transition between winter and summer is just remarkable, really. Absolutely remarkable. Right, let's plod on and see if we can find somewhere a little bit more accessible. The stream is over there somewhere. Yeah, this is what you're up against. It's just massively overgrown in the summer. Difficult to appreciate that it's the same place, to be honest, and even identify spots where you may have fished in the winter. It's just massively overgrown. This is certainly a swim I've fished in the past, but I mean, you couldn't even get a rod out at the moment. It's just unbelievable. And again, plenty of bulrushes. So that's what we're up against. Nice, this looks remarkably clear in here. It's quite amazing. That's quite amazing. Someone's done a bit of work here, haven't they? Making a pitch. I don't remember seeing this pitch even in the winter. But obviously, I don't like the look of the fact there's a wooden stake down there with a line tied around it. I wonder if it's a dead line. I'll perhaps try and scramble down and have a look, but I'll be careful. Not as young as I used to be. Yeah, I'll go and have a look, see what I can see. This is what I pulled out, which left me a little bit confused. It certainly wasn't a deadline, and it didn't appear to be a trap of any sort. So I put it back in because I thought it might be something that ought to be there, and that's how it turned out. In fact, what it was a copy of the planks and netting that they used in the Avon Roach project to encourage the roach to spawn. The roach sort of went into the net and left their spawn in the net. So it was a chap in the club who was trying to emulate that project. As you can see in this photo, the Avon Roach project board looks very similar, if a little bit less rotten. Anyway, that's what it was all about. This spot here is always open. It's never sort of weeded up. It's what I call the dog pool. This is where all the dogs come to have a swim. I have fished it in the past, but never with much success, casting over to the far side there. There's a heck of a lot of wind today. I've got a muffled mic on, but it may still be affecting this. Well, a spot that I sort of regard as my number one spot, which is over by that tree there, is pretty well inaccessible, unless you want to wade through nettles or perhaps have a mosey and see. Yeah, it's just amazing how different these spaces are in the summer. Yeah, you can almost get over there actually, if you don't mind getting stung a bit. Yeah, that's sort of a favourite spot there under that tree. Just about fish it actually, but there's a lot of bulrushes down here, so you might be challenged to get a fish in even if you hook one. Be careful when I'm walking here. I don't know where the bank ends and the stream begins. There's something making a ripple down there. I'm trying to work out what it is. I don't know if it's just a weed under the water or... Let's give you a bit of a zoom. I'll try not to zoom it so fast this time. Certainly a lot of sort of disturbance on the surface of the water. Yeah. Well, maybe, but maybe not. Still, you can at least get to it. Whether you can in a few weeks' time is another matter. The nettles won't stop growing. In the winter I fished on that point out there, sort of walking across like that and then perched on the point. So I was looking down into this strait. Well, as you can see, short of wading through some thigh-high vegetation, that's not an option now. Possible to fish here, I suppose, but be a bit of a blind cast and need a long rod to get out past the vegetation. Plus, it's a bit precarious down there, sort of. But not impossible, I suppose. Sorry, I just blew a little insect off my hand, which was definitely biting me because I could feel it. The joys of summer. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that it's a bit more accessible than the Chub stream, but the banks are probably more difficult. The stream's more accessible in places, but in terms of the amount of weed, but the banks are really challenging. So let's walk on, shall we? This is where I got my PB chub for this stream. But boy oh boy, look at it now. I mean, say even if you hook something out there, you never get in. You never get in. It's quite remarkable, really, the amount of growth that occurs in really a matter of few months. Especially the bulrushes, they're just everywhere. Plus you've got all the lilies and the cabbage. You know, you just don't stand a chance of getting anything in, even if you hook it. I mean, so even if you manage to get it out of all the streamer, you've got to get across all these bulrushes, and I suppose the only way to do that. It's interesting that these ones have been beaten down a bit here. I suppose the only way to do that would be to have some waders on and actually slip down there and stand on the bulrushes. Hopefully the water's not that deep underneath. The problem is I'm not up to that these days. I may be able to get down there, I'll never get up again, so that's not an option. Yeah. Fascinating, really. Nature really is fascinating. How it sort of proliferates. Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure there's many more spots to see, but we'll have a walk and have a look. This spot here is normally always sort of accessible, which is quite amazing, really. I remember I came here last summer before the season, and this was really the only real open spot on the whole bank. I have fished it, but I've never caught from this swim, so it may well be open, but it hasn't been very productive for me. But you get a good view of the stream here, and you can see sort of upstream, sort of an area where you can't really get to in any meaningful way, but it's quite an interesting sort of part of the stream. Yeah, I'm not sure there are many more spots now, if any, but I'll walk a bit further, see what we find. Yeah. Well, as you get towards the end of the stream, the jungle intensifies. Yeah, I'm just sort of next to almost now a fishable spot. In most cases it's fishable, but it's just a bit precarious. There is a bit of sort of firm ground down there, but there's also a stream. And it's quite tricky to get out of this spot once you get in it, which at this stage in my life is something I have to think about. I did bring a fly rod down here. I'm not sure it was last year or the year before, and I actually managed to catch a small chub in this spot in the summer. That was all I caught, but given my proficiency with a fly rod, that was quite an achievement, and I was very pleased. Anyway, I think that's the last spot on the stream that I wanted to look at. It may be worth a trip here. There's a few places where it's challenging, you could get a bait in, but we'll see how I feel. This is a back channel of the main river, which is useful to fish because you don't get any boats on it. And in sort of normal circumstances you can actually fish this spot here, but I can't see any gaps through these nettles, which are now pushing 4 foot high. And it's an interesting little spot this, because you've got that overhanging tree over there, and I've tried a number of times putting bait down there, but I've never had anything. But anyway, that's the back channel, and as it goes down there, in about, I don't know, 150 yards or so, it joins up with the trout stream. They join, and that's the end of the trout stream effectively. Yeah. So there. Well, that's it, folks. A little walk along the trout stream. A bit like the chub stream, very, very difficult, but there were a few spots that I thought I could perhaps have a go at, albeit, to use that word again, very, very challenging. Anyway, that's my second pre-season walk along the streams. I may try and get out again this week, just have a look at one more spot, but see how it goes. And then next Monday, it's the beginning of the season. Yeah, so I hope you found that sort of interesting, and some people might find it useful if they fish this stream. Just get a feel for how things are looking before they make a decision. So thanks for watching, as always, and bye for now, and cheers.